the world, and it's impacting Western New York.
It's not only impacting government, it's affecting towns, municipalities, the airport, and of course affecting us here at 7 News as well. So we're broadcasting live on our Facebook page. We'd invite you to join the conversation as well on our WKBW Facebook page. You can chime in on the day's top stories. We're going to try and get through a regular newscast here and get you all of the information that you need, but you need to keep this in the back of your mind that if you have an emergency, you can still call 911. Everything is still operating as normal, except the fact that these police, fire agencies, ambulance agencies are operating without computers. So they're doing everything by hand and by paper.
So we got in this morning and we see that there's this massive worldwide outage. I'll just kind of take you through the back steps of it, right? And so we're like, okay, we better start making calls and see what impact this has here. So we called all the different sheriff's office, a number of the local municipalities. Like Ed mentioned, their 911 systems are not impacted.
Correct.
Phone's still working, radio's still working. So that's great news. It's that back end paperwork that's going to be the issue for them. So they're doing everything old school right now. Also, the airport right now, from all we can gather, flights are grounded because this tech impact is so huge. We have Jordan Johnson, who is at the airport, and we're going to be checking in with her throughout the morning.
We actually just spoke with an NFTA spokesperson. And for those of you who don't know how the inner workings go on here, the NFTA is telling us that there is an impact here, and they're advising you to check with your carrier and to check with the airport before actually coming to the airport, because there are a number of ground stoppages, ground delays as well from Delta, American Airlines, and United.
So
keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you go on the airport website right now, and again, because this is a tech outage, this could be maybe they can't update it right now. But I'm on the airport's website right now, and it looks like all of these flights are scheduled to go. Although, like Ed mentioned, we spoke with the NFTA, and that may not be the case.
So I want to read you exactly what the NFTA just told our Jordan Johnson. Kelly Khatib, a spokesperson, is heading to the airport right now. She can confirm the outage is affecting flights nationwide. So we're advising travelers to check with their airline prior to coming to the airport. So needless to say, this is going to be a big hassle for a lot of people who are traveling, who are commuting by plane. It really won't impact your day-to-day outside of work. You know, a lot of Microsoft people, people who use Microsoft systems, Office 365, whatever it is, those are the people who are having the most issue this morning.
Yeah, that's what we found when we were coming in. We weren't able to get into some of our systems. So you can see right now, this is our workaround that we've developed. Now, we do have some local news coming up for you throughout the morning, but we wanted to get you updated on the latest at this because you may need to head into the office a little bit early. You may need to be checking your telecommuting technology because it might not be working as normal this morning.
Okay, so let's get you caught up. We're going to check in with Autumn Lewandowski, who's in for Aaron this morning in just a moment. But first, some local headlines. First this morning, this is breaking from the 7 News I-Team, now learning AMR, the third-party ambulance service contracted with the city of Buffalo, operating in the city of Buffalo now without a contract and has been for the last 3 years, since March 2021. This morning, AMR's on time for being called to question. Buffalo Common Councilor Nowakowski sending a letter to AMR explaining some people in his district have been left without proper care for over an hour or no service at all. In a letter obtained by the 7 News I-Team, Nowakowski writes these delays are not only alarming, but also pose severe risks to the health and well-being of our residents. Now, Nowakowski is demanding information about response times over the past year and information about shortages in staffing or vehicles that he says may be contributing to these delays. AMR now being called to testify in front of the Finance Committee in September once the Common Council returns from recess. Obviously, this is one of those stories we're going to be following for you throughout the day, and we're going to be checking in with AMR to see what their response is to this letter Nowakowski is now sending to their president. Also this morning, the Republican Party's bid for the White House is set after former President Trump addressed the Republican National Convention. Last night, that speech was the longest televised nomination acceptance speech in U.S. history. We saw a number of people last night at the RNC, a number of dignitaries and officials also addressing the crowd.
But we do know all of this is coming amid questions, right? Is Joe Biden going to continue to be the Democratic nominee? We know in recent days he's had conversations with Nancy Pelosi. We know he's had conversations with Chuck Schumer. And we know that Schumer encouraged him that it might be time to step down to move the Democratic Party forward.
A lot of these high-ranking officials have explained that Biden really has no path to victory. This comes, of course, with Biden's questions of will he stay in or will he stay out? Perry Russum has details for us.
Former President Trump formally accepting the Republican Party's nomination for president. Trump on stage for the first time since the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania.
I had God on my side.
Trump saying he's not supposed to be here tonight. The crowd chanting, "Yes, you are."
I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
On stage with Trump, the firefighter helmet and jacket of Corey Comparator, who was killed Saturday. Trump kissing the helmet.
In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens.
After promising unity, Trump quickly slipping into the same divisive attacks he's been giving on the campaign trail. While talking policy, Trump delivering what can be seen as a transphobic comment.
We will not have men playing in women's sports.
The former president making no mention of abortion rights, instead focusing on lowering the cost of energy by drilling, saying he will end the war in Ukraine and closing the border.
The Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country.
With the Republican nomination now solidified, the Democratic nomination may be in question. According to two people familiar with the conversations, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has privately told some House Democrats she believes President Biden is more receptive to hearing calls to step aside, and those conversations could push him to make a decision soon. A top White House communications official calls a report of Biden planning to withdraw fan fiction. With the Democrats in disarray, the Republican Party uniting behind Trump.
We will press forward, and together we will win, win, win.
All eyes now go from Milwaukee to Delaware, where President Biden is recovering from COVID. The Democratic National Convention is 1 month away in Chicago. Perry Russum, ABC News, Milwaukee.
All right, Perry, thank you. We're going to continue to give you some local news. We're still trying to get Jordan Johnson in as well. We mentioned to you that she's at the airport this morning. And I know you want your forecast. The great news is the weekend looks good. So I give you that, but Autumn's standing by. She's actually right to my right. We're going to check with her in a minute.
In the meantime, the Democratic Party sources are telling ABC News President Biden is growing more receptive to calls urging him to end his reelection bid. Obviously, you just heard from Trump addressing the RNC. Pressure appears to be building for the president to drop out. This morning, we now know at least 23 congressional Democrats are calling for President Biden to step out of the race. During a recent meeting with Biden, Senator Chuck Schumer presented Biden with polling data showing he could drag the Democratic Party down in Congress. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi also expressing concerns. A senior Biden administration official says Biden has asked for polling on how Vice President Kamala Harris would do against Trump. White House officials, though, dismissing a report saying he could drop out as soon as this weekend. We're going to be keeping an eye on that for you throughout the day. Also this morning, Erie County health officials are looking at ways to address the ongoing opioid and fentanyl crisis in our community.
And this all comes as we know numbers are showing just how significant this problem has become. According to the county health department, so far this year, we've had 111 confirmed opioid-related deaths in the county. It does not include 98 suspected opioid-related deaths. They haven't been officially confirmed yet. So on Thursday, county leaders gathered at Old County Hall. They talked about their efforts here. The county's using a $1 million media campaign to spread awareness through videos, radio, print, social media. They're also targeting at-risk groups. And we spoke with some Erie County legislators. Lindsay Larigo, by the way, says she is concerned bail reform might be making this crisis harder to handle.
Out on the streets, and it's not the best situation for people. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, putting people that are dealing with addiction back on the street, it's not going to have a good outcome.
So the Erie County Health Commissioner says the crisis is multifaceted. It's a community problem, and we all need to come together to work to solve it. So just to keep in mind, if you have someone you know who might be struggling with opioid use or abuse, we have a list of resources to help fight addiction on WKBW.com. Also developing this morning, Buffalo police are working with Buffalo Public Schools and the NFTA. They're talking about some possible restrictions on bus passes for students.
This comes after two summer school students were stabbed in the area of Mohawk and Main Street in Buffalo. This happened Wednesday about 12:30 in the afternoon. Both of them were sent to Oshai Children's Hospital. One has serious injuries. In an update, we're learning that this fight involved 10 teenagers assaulting a single teenager. According to Buffalo police, a teenager who was being assaulted pulled out a knife, stabbed two teenagers, calling this a self-defense situation. The Buffalo Police Commissioner, Joe Gramaglia, explains the two students who were stabbed were not in attendance at summer school. Gramalia says he wants to ensure these students are actually going to class. He says he spoke with a Buffalo Public Schools superintendent, Dr. Tanja Williams, who says she sent out a robocall Wednesday urging parents not to allow their kids downtown. We did reach out to Buffalo Public Schools, and we are yet to hear back.
You know, as we're continuing, you can tell to have a little bit of a different style to our newscast this morning. I do just want to remind you, it's because of this massive global tech outage that everybody's working around this morning. Faye, I want to bring in your comment here because we have so many people who are joining us right now. You can go to our WKBW Facebook page and you can chime in on this conversation. Faye saying, this is crazy, and I feel really bad for travelers right now. Grace thanking us for news and the updates. Kelly wondering right now if there's any impact on the NFA paratransit.
We are working to get information from the NFTA right now. Kelly Khatib, the spokesperson for the NFTA, is heading there right now. Our Jordan Johnson is there. We're going to check in with Jordan in just a moment. Connie says, check your flights if you're flying somewhere. Absolutely. That's the best advice from the NFTA this morning. It is 5:14 on the start of your Friday morning. TGIF, you're watching Good Morning Buffalo. We'll be right back. So Connie, I just see your comment here. Also, 911 isn't working in all areas either. So I want to assure you that here in Western New York, 911 services are in fact working. They are working.
Unless if you've heard something different, Connie, and if you have locally, let us know. But we made a number of calls this morning and 911 was not impacted. Police radio, fire radio, all of those systems not impacted.
No,
it was just their computers.
police, exactly. This is what I want to avoid.
Yeah.
911 is working. If you have an emergency, you can still call 911. They will answer, they will respond. They are still operating as normal. However, their computer software, it's called CAD, it's not working. So they're doing everything by hand. They are still operating as if they were prior to computers. But again, let's calm the fears here. 911 is still operational.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Great question.
Yeah, Cindy, that's something that, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of people looking into this morning because we came in and so many of our systems weren't working. And it wasn't until we really started digging that we saw, okay, it's not just this system. Now we're looking, okay, this is a worldwide thing. I mean, we're talking like London Stock Exchange, for example, isn't happening this morning right now.
What I've seen in some of our reporting is that this has to do with a Microsoft patch. So a lot of people who use Microsoft systems, that Office 365 software, that all is being impacted. And Microsoft obviously runs so much of the cloud computing systems. So that appears to be why this is not working. Microsoft has posted on Twitter several times saying that they are working to resolve the issue.
Here's what they officially say. We are investigating an issue impacting users' ability to access various Microsoft 365 apps and services. Investigating.
Great. Thanks so much. Justin says we are too reliant on computers. You know, I'm right there with you.
Jacqueline, I'm laughing at Jacqueline's comment who says, sounds like work today is going to be interesting. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Mike's comment here, Bill Gates has some splaining to do, no doubt. Felice saying these hackers are extremely sophisticated. It's scary, though. Again, no confirmation that any of that is actually, there's no malfeasance here.
Right.
It sounds like Microsoft has some sort of an issue and it's affecting everything.
It could have been an
globally.
internal thing there that's, you know, but so many of us use their systems, right? But again, the good news is the big things you need to worry about, 911, police, fire, they're all still operational. It's just going to take them a little bit longer to file those reports.
Heather wondering if we know if the computers at Quest Diagnostics are working. I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not.
It would
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's something you'd want to call ahead for because phone systems are working. So call ahead, see if you can check their website, although again, they may not be able to.
Hey, John in the booth, where are we going here? Are we going to Autumn or are we going to news again? Okay, thank you. We're going to merge in with our TV viewers, so stand by for us. Okay, welcome back. It's 5:17 on the start of your Friday morning. Why am I so dressed down is what Russ wants to know. You're probably wondering the same thing. And why do we look a little weird?
And what a Friday it's been. Yeah.
Okay, so we're having a little bit of an issue here at Channel 7. A lot of media companies around the world are having the same issue as well, along with a lot of other agencies, municipalities, and organizations. All of this related to an IT issue that's affecting everyone around the world. So we've been working our tails off since we walked in this morning, trying to figure out how to get on the air, number one, and number two, how this affects you, considering the impact of this computer
Right.
system.
So a few things you need to know. Number one, probably your workday is going to be a little bit different if you use especially any Microsoft-based programs, because that seems to be where one of the biggest issues is. Also, if you're flying today, you're going to want to check with your carrier ahead of time. We do have Jordan Johnson at the airport this morning. Right now, as far as we know, flights are being grounded because this IT impact is just that at the airport. They really can't handle all of the people coming in right now. So we're going to follow that throughout the day.
There's also just a lack of communication, right? I mean, like they can't talk to each other.
Physically, right. Not due to them, but because they're not able to,
Right.
and the computers they can't update. So we were going to follow all the latest on that. We're going to get you your local news too, but I know so many of you are saying it's 5:19, it's Friday. I need a cocktail later tonight
No
already.
kidding. So Autumn Lewandowski is here with us. She's tracking your 7 weather forecast as we head into what's going to be a glorious weekend, my friend.
Here it is. We're definitely working for it at this point. We have temperatures that are cool, though. They're in the upper, mid, and upper 50s. We have southerly winds that are nice and light. The sun will be coming up at 5:54. The temperature change from yesterday morning, and that was even cooler, is now 7 degrees cooler in Buffalo, 13 degrees cooler in Bradford. And we're also going to be dealing with some valley fog in spots, too. So just be mindful of that across the southern tier. Take a look from Wellsville to Tennessee. There's some dense portions of some fog through that area. Now, what we have are temperatures, not only in the 50s, but even some 40s out there for Wellsville and for Bradford. That is nice sleeping weather. Now, our Doppler radar is seeing nice and clear, quiet. That's going to be the case throughout the entire weekend ahead as we go throughout the Great Lakes. There are no issues or concerns. I would grab your sunglasses early this morning, maybe even for the southern tier and 40s. You might have a jacket on. Temperatures go from the 50s into the 60s fairly quickly. We're going to deal with sunshine almost through the entire day. We'll call it possibly some fair weather clouds into the afternoon. Otherwise, I mean, it's a mostly sunny day. Temperatures are close to the 80-degree mark for Niagara Falls, and then Jamestown, we're in the middle 70s for our day as well. And here it is with the radar, the hour-by-hour forecast, not only with the radar, but also with the clouds. I'm just letting this run all the way through Sunday because there are no issues whatsoever. The only fly in the ointment would be during the afternoon on Sunday along the Lake Breeze boundary that a possible shower could pop up into the afternoon hours, and primarily that would be north of Buffalo. So not even the entire area would have a chance to see those showers around. Our forecast will be in the upper 70s for today. The overnight low is nice and comfortable into the 50s. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're in the low 80s. So if you're going to the Chautauqua County Fair, if you're going to Old Home Days, if you're going to Canal Fest, I mean, there are so many different events that are taking place. Absolutely perfect through the entire weekend and even into next week, mind you. We do become a little unsettled into the middle of next week.
All right, Autumn.
Waiting for John's cue. Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting for our producer. John said your mics are going to have a little bit of a delay here. So thank you, Autumn. Boy, that looks like a beautiful weekend.
Looking forward to it. Okay, we want to get you caught up with what's happening at the airport this morning. Our 7 News reporter, Jordan Johnson, is there live for us with breaking details. Jordan, good morning to you. Tell us exactly what you're seeing out there in terms of delays, cancellations, and what you're hearing from the NFTA. You know, so many of those people gather because the early flights are there and you see the long lines. We know that that United, Delta, and American have all asked for an FAA ground stop around the world. So this is not just happening here locally, but this is affecting a lot of people around the world as well. Now, what Jordan is seeing in terms of the statuses being updated on the big board, it says scheduled or delayed. We know for a lot of people that's just not going to be the case today. A lot of those flights are at least going to be delayed. At most, they will be canceled.
So I'm looking at the big board at the airport right now. And again, the thing is, can the airport even update this on the back end? That's the big question, because so many of these Microsoft systems are down this morning. So the only one that's technically delayed here is a Baltimore flight, flight to Baltimore, excuse me, from Southwest. But again, like Ed said, we already know that so many airlines have asked to ground these flights this morning. So chances are some of the people that you're seeing there right now are going to be delayed throughout the morning. And again, we're going to be checking in with Kelly from the NFTA because we want to see, do they have any further information? Are any of their systems able to work? Because again, police, we know 911 is working fine, the calls at least. The police radios are working fine. There you go. You see the big board at the airport right there. And again, these are the the arrivals. You want to go, John, up to the top page and click on the departures, because that's what you're going to see this morning. And you can see, yeah, there's one that was canceled here, but that's from last night. Then the only one this morning that appears delayed right now is that Baltimore flight. But like Jordan said, she already spoke to 2 different flyers who said they've learned that their flights are delayed.
Okay, so this is something that we're going to be monitoring for you throughout the day. Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll come back with more news right after this. It's 5:25. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo.
John, when we come back from break, would you like to move forward with some of these top story or some of these local stories here? Okay.
We
So
got
we'll start
2 here,
at Dash.
and then go to break, come back at 5:30.
We can't want to do Dash and Crowd Diver. Do you
Yeah,
have
and
the
then
rest
come
of,
back.
Do you have all the rest of these?
No.
Okay. Ed's going to need a script too. Okay, you don't have Crowd Diver. So
No,
read Dash.
I
I'll
have
read
Crowd
Diver
Diver
Oh, you
here.
do? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll read that one, and then we can take a break. And thank you to everybody who's joining us this morning on Facebook. Just so you know, we do see you. I'm
just updating the web here. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention
I know.
to what's going
I'm trying
on
to
here.
keep an eye. Oh, Carrie, thank you for letting us know this. We'll pass this along to everybody too. She works at Roswell. Got a text and an email that this is impacting them. So Carrie, thanks for letting us know. We're going to pass that along as soon as we go back on air. Appreciate it.
Can you send us a screenshot of that text that you got from Roswell? You can send it to me. My phone number is 713-3514. And I'll just repeat it again, 713-3514. I'd love to get a copy of that text message. If you could screenshot it, Carrie, and just send it to me, 716-713-3514. Or find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Whatever's
I would
your
love to
easiest
see
way.
What that text message actually says, please.
Yeah, and Carrie, are you going in today too? I guess that's another good question for you.
We appreciate that, Felice. Thank you so much. And Justin, yeah, we're trying. Working very hard here.
It's been a morning, Justin.
Dash
Crowd
and then Crowd.
Driver.
And then we'll go to break and reset. I would love for Jordan to try and get a live interview if that's possible, and then we can go back to her at the top of the 5:30. That would be great, whether it's with Kelly or the NF or a passenger, just somebody so that we could kind of set the scene here. That would be super helpful. Okay, fabulous. Thank you. They're talking to us in our ear. Not just talking to myself. Okay, welcome back on a Friday morning. It's 5:28. Buffalo police working to figure out how a man died and how the fire at the house where he was found was started. In an update, police say a 24-year-old Andrew Shipley stabbed and killed 24-year-old Megan Huttenlocker on Ashland Avenue in Buffalo. Police say the two were in a relationship. Less than half an hour later, Shipley was found dead inside a home on Dash Street after firefighters responded to this fire.
And a Niagara Falls woman is spending the next 10 years behind bars after being convicted of driving into a group of people. In September of 2023, police say 32-year-old Shanquilla Armstrong drove up on a sidewalk. She hit two people, caused serious injuries. She was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree attempted assault. All right, we are continuing this morning to deal with that massive tech outage and following the very latest. Want to just let you know, and we appreciate all of you who are following us right now on our Facebook page. If you're able to, go to our Facebook page and chime in. We got a message from Carrie. If you work at Roswell, she got a message, a text and an email that's impacting them there.
And if you're seeing anything along those lines from your business or from your town, municipality, if you're getting an emergency alert, let us know. We'd love to see it as well. You can talk to us on social media at Dranch TV, at MorseCat on Instagram, and tag us using the hashtag #SeeItOn7. It's 5:29. We're going to reset, come back to you at 5:30. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo.
Okay, so we want to move to back half scripts, right? I want to keep all these in order if possible.
Okay, let's go to her at the top. Or if we can we go to Autumn at the top? Okay, let's start with Autumn, then we'll go to Jordan.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go up. Yeah, why didn't you cue us before is my question, I guess. Was I should I still? Okay. So we'll wait. We should wait until we see ourselves or until we hear you. Okay. So yeah, let's go to Autumn. Tell Jordan if she can get a live interview, that would be great, because honestly, she's got the best stuff right now at the airport with people. So she can use her SOTs, but maybe she can grab a live interview too. The more she has, the merrier.
Neil says, we are good here at upstate Niagara. That is great. He makes cottage cheese. That is great. I'm glad the cheese is being made here. Listen, we're going to reset here. So sit tight. We're going to check in with Autumn. As you're hearing, we're going to go to Jordan at the airport, and we will get you the day's headlines and weather as best we can. So stand by. We've got about 15 seconds. We'll merge back
Friday,
in with our
everybody.
TV viewers. I like Felice's comment. You and me both, girl. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Again, we're talking, when you hear us talking, it looks like we're talking to no one. We're talking to our producer, John, who's talking in our ear. Tina, that's a great question. Maybe one of our producers, John, could make that Amtrak call.
Good morning to you. It's 5:30 on the start of your Friday morning. We're so glad you're with us to start the day. Things might look a little bit different around here. It's because of that global IT outage that so many people are going through this morning. It affects us here at 7 News. We're trying to get you the news and weather as best as we can with the technology that we have that is working. Here's what you need to know this morning. A number of people are being affected. A number of towns and municipalities are also being affected as well because of this Microsoft patch issue that seems to be the root cause of the problem. Now, this affects you on a very local level, especially if you're flying out of the airport. We're going to check in with 7 News reporter Jordan Johnson, who's live for us at the airport in just moments. The thing that you need to know, if you have an emergency, you will still be able to call 911, and they will still be able to respond to you ASAP. We did call a number of towns, a number of police departments, sheriff's offices. All have said that they are responding to calls and that 911 is operating as normal.
It's just taking them back old school this morning, and they're taking everything paperwork-wise. They're going to have to turn it around, put it into their computer later. Again, this outage is going to likely impact many of you at work should it not be fixed in time. We've already learned that Roswell employees got a text and an email that, yep, they're impacted there. And across the world, we're seeing banks, again, I'd mentioned municipalities, all different companies, many of them operating with Microsoft-based systems. And really, name me a company that doesn't operate off some sort of Microsoft-based system, right, in some aspect. So we're continuing to follow that. We're checking with Jordan just a bit, but I know, listen, it's the weekend, okay? It's Friday morning. We're already ready for Friday evening right now, knowing that we've got this crazy day ahead of us. So we have Autumn Lewandowski in. And Autumn, you are tracking, frankly, a weekend that we've been watching all week because it looks so nice.
Man, this is smooth sailing into the weekend. I mean, take a look at the sun rising over the eastern edge of Skywatch here. 57 degrees at the airport. Dew points are in the lower 50s, and there's some bugs that are having a good time this morning as well. 60 in Niagara Falls, along the lakeshore, and even some 40s across the southern tier early this morning. So hopefully you were able to have the air conditioners get a break. You can put or not have the dehumidifiers on any longer at this point. But we do have some areas of patchy valley fog, and then also a little more dense into Allegheny County, although getting better as you take a look at Wellsville up to about 4 miles. Genesee is just under a mile worth of visibility. As you look at our satellite and radar shot throughout the Great Lakes, we are nice and quiet. This is going to continue into the entire weekend as this high pressure system is in control. Temperatures go from the 50s over the next few hours into the 60s pretty quickly. We'll end up in the mid and upper 70s for the day under mostly sunny skies. We'll have nice light wind with this as well. That patchy fog will give way to mostly sunny skies across the southern tier too. So Niagara Falls closer to 80 degrees, Buffalo or Batavia mid and upper 70s. Jamestown is in the mid and lower 70s for today and getting better even into the weekend. Might as well give you a quick look at that as temperatures rise into the lower 80s for Saturday and Sunday as well.
Autumn Lewandowski for us this morning. Autumn, thank you so much. Obviously, this global IT outage is affecting so many people when it comes to flying in or out of the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. This morning, we know that the FAA has ground stopped all flights when it comes to Delta, United, and American Airlines.
And so we have our Jordan Johnson who went to the airport. She's there live right now speaking with some travelers. Jordan, good morning to you. What are people telling you and how is this impacting everything at the airport?
The plane for a little bit, and apparently there were some technical issues that we weren't really clear about. Sat on the plane for a little more, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to try to figure it out." And then we were asked to deplane.
It's very concerning because who knows when it'll be back up, and what does it do to is the big question.
Okay, so this is one of those situations that we're going to be monitoring for you throughout the day. Can we just pull up Jordan's live shot again? I would love to see what the crowds actually look like, because we know that when those first flights of the day get started and when we know a lot of people pack the airports, those lines are long. So I just wonder if this is a bigger issue here, or if those folks who are at the United counter in particular are being delayed, or if they're having their flights canceled. What I think we're seeing here is a little bit of both. I think that we're seeing a lot of people who are heading to the airport thinking that their flight will be operating on or close to schedule, only to find out that their flight is likely delayed or canceled. As we now know, the FAA has ground stopped United, American, and Delta. So a lot of these people who you see at the ticket counter aren't going anywhere anytime fast.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is the airport hasn't really been able to update its website from the back end as far as we've seen, because it looks like all those flights are still scheduled to go today. I want to let you know, CNN is reporting that Pete Buttigieg, of course, the U.S. Transportation Secretary is saying, listen, I'm holding these airlines to their responsibility. He's monitoring all of this right now. All of these technical issues started with the monitoring at Frontier Airlines, leading to cancellations and delays, and we know it's only gone on from there.
Okay, so we're going to continue tracking this situation for you, get you the day's local news as well, and check in with Autumn Lewandowski, who's tracking a beautiful weekend forecast after this. It's 5:38. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo. I love Mike's comment here. It's like, why do you?
I know, no kidding. So John, do you want to just go straight to these back half stories and we'll start rolling there? We'll take Autumn and
Chris wondering, would this also affect shopping centers like Wegmans, Targets, gasoline? Let me reach out to Tops and I can find out for you. I'm going to just check in with our friend Kathy Sauter, who is the spokesperson for Tops, and I'll let you know. Albert.
we can.
Sure.
Sure. Do you want to get rid of Kensington for now? Okay. Edmund, I hear you. He's ready to go on vacation.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we toss to 7 things? Okay. Okay. Beth, wondering if any governments are affected. 911 services are working. You can call 911 if you have an emergency. They're working without computer systems really right now. Their CAD system is what it's called. So they're doing a lot of paperwork this morning.
And we all love paperwork.
Okay, welcome back. It's 5:40 on the start of your Friday morning. Obviously, a lot of IT outages across the board, all around the world this morning. It'll affect you at work as you're heading out the door. It's affecting us here at 7 News, so that's why we look a little bit different. I'm a little dressed down today. I apologize.
You look great, but you don't match me.
I know. I do have a tie that looks like that, though.
You know, and I didn't even want to wear this shirt today.
I'm sorry.
You were the one who picked the color.
All right, let's get you caught up with the day's headlines here this morning. This morning, we're hearing from the legal team representing a Hamburg man working to get his pet alligator back home. Earlier this week, we told you how Tony Cavallaro is suing the DEC after the state removed Albert the alligator from his house.
In that lawsuit, Cavallaro claims that he called the DEC several times to explain he was following their regulations, but he says he didn't get a response. In March, the DEC, we know, seized Albert in part because Cavallaro's permit was expired, and the DEC claims Albert's got a number of health issues like blindness in both eyes and back problems. Cavallaro says the DEC took Albert without any prior notice.
Stolen from me. It was kidnapped from me. It was so unjust how they went about everything. Why couldn't they come and talk to me about the whole thing? I don't understand anything of how they handled this.
Okay, Cavallaro tells 7 News kids posed for pictures in a pool that he built for Albert in his home, but it wasn't often. The DEC says public contact with an animal is prohibited and grounds for relocating that animal. 7 News senior reporter Michael Wooten spoke with Cavallaro's attorney. He was on Voices last night with Michael, and he says the alligator and Tony Cavallaro didn't put anyone in danger. So that's something that the attorney's arguing. It'll be interesting to see how this moves forward.
So we're continuing to follow that massive IT outage. We're seeing all of your comments here on our WKBW Facebook page. And by the way, if you're watching on TV, you can actually join the conversation right now on our WKBW Facebook page. We'd love to see how you're dealing with this or what is affecting you at your business or wherever you work. Beth was wondering, are any governments affected? And I want to make sure that we're very clear here. If you call 911 today, if you have an emergency, you will still get through to dispatchers. We spoke, each of us individually, to a number of dispatchers this morning in different police agencies. I called Buffalo Police, Buffalo Fire, and we've got a whole list for you on WKBW.com. Each one reported that you will still be able to get in touch with them. The thing that's different is really not going to affect us. It's affecting them. their computers are down.
Right. So they're doing everything the old school way. They're taking notes and reports by paper. I do also want to bring up Felice's comment here saying, I hope streetlights and signals aren't affected. We all drove in this morning, Felice, absolutely no issues.
Right.
We've heard nothing about that. So no issues there. Should anybody see an issue or you hear about something, let us know. We'll make sure we check it out. But again, we both drove in, no problems.
I've also reached out to Kathy Sauter, who is the spokesperson from TOPS, because one of you had also asked if there were any issues when it comes to grocery stores. Somebody was asking about Target. So Kathy is a good friend of the show. So hopefully we'll hear from her in moments.
Is she an early riser?
You know what? I'm sure you are if you're watching us. Nonetheless, this is one of those things that's going to have a large impact on your day. 5:44, teachers from our area heading out to the Great Lakes for a plankton workshop.
So 7 News reporter Kristen Moran caught up with some of these teachers to talk about what the main focus of their trip was and also what they were expecting to learn.
Taking advantage of the rivers and lakes right in our backyard. That's what a number of teachers are doing in a 2-day workshop. I'm Kristen Moran sharing the knowledge that they're gaining and how they plan to incorporate that in the classroom.
While school's out, these science teachers from all over the Great Lakes region are gearing up for a day full of learning.
They're going on a field trip.
A number of teachers, like Rochester teacher Alan Harp, embarking on a 2-day Great Lakes plankton workshop.
I'm improving my skills at identifying zooplankton and phytoplankton and learning about microplastics.
I just love the experiences that the Sea Grant gives us, just so that we can really see what is happening in our area and how we can help improve and help that future generation.
Ellicottville science teacher Jennifer Crane says this immersive experience can be applied to lesson plans for her students.
A lot of my students are avid fishermen, and so bringing this information that we learned today really shows them, well, what's healthy, what's helping those fish grow, like what can we do to improve our waterways.
So the group spent their morning at Joseph Davis State Park sampling for plankton and microplastics and examining it all under the microscope.
Science is all about, you know, understanding and studying the stuff that's too big and too small to really understand. That's part of the reason why you become a scientist or a science teacher.
Todd Fiore, a biology teacher in Cattaraugus Little Valley, says this is his first workshop taking advantage of what's right in our backyard.
I mean, we live next to what is arguably what? 1/5 of the world's fresh water is in our backyard. That is amazing, what an incredible resource that we have.
I mean, there's no place really on earth that has this much fresh water, and it's right here. And we take it for granted a lot.
Nate Dragg is a Great Lakes literacy specialist for New York Sea Grant. Think of him like the camp counselor for the day, guiding the teachers through each station as they learn and examine microplastics and plankton, which is at the base of the food chain.
So the main focus is plankton and what's living out there. But while we're looking at things under microscopes, while we're using nets, we're also going to see what type of microplastics, fibers, things are in there, as well as the small plastics on the shore. Because these small organisms can ingest that small pollution, and that works its way up the food chain.
This hands-on experience, now another tool in these teachers' toolboxes.
So this is going to allow us to really bring the latest and the greatest in science, innovation, and the complications that are currently happening in order to use that in our curriculum planning and lesson planning.
Kristen Moran, 7 News, Youngstown.
That is just so cool.
You know, you were asking if I ever thought about this. No, the answer is absolutely not.
Because I never really thought about plankton in the Great Lakes. You think about it in the ocean.
Yeah.
When you think about whales, because you know that's what they eat.
They
right?
bubble net and they blow everything up.
Well, and it comes through their, like, I don't want to say teeth. I'm sure there's another word for it. But, you know, that's and so I'm just like, I never really thought about this in the Great Lakes. How cool.
Okay, so we're obviously having those IT issues that so many businesses and entities across the area and around the world, frankly, are having this morning. That said, we are broadcasting live on our WKBW Facebook page and simulcasting on our on Channel 7. So we're going to get you the day's headlines and get you caught up with the weather as well. Autumn Lewandowski is here tracking your 7 weather forecast as we head into a beautiful weekend, Autumn.
Well, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, and it's starting. Don't put some buttons. 57 degrees at the airport. Spider moving along just fine this morning. Temperatures are in the lower, or the dew points are in the lower 50s, so it's a nice, crisp, and comfortable start to the day. We have 58 degrees in Gasper. Oakfield is at 56 degrees. Marilla is now at 55. And then we even have some flurries across the southern tier. You head down to 219 from Springfield to Ellicottville. We are in the lower 50s, but between Limestone, Bradford, And then moving into Allegheny County, there are a few areas in the upper 50s or upper 40s like Wellsville too. Looking at satellite and radar, nice and quiet. This is the case this morning. It will be the case this afternoon and throughout the Great Lakes. So the next couple of days, it's going to be nice and quiet. Nothing to really complain about at this point, because earlier this week there was a lot to be said. Our boating forecast Friday, we have nice light winds that are out there too. So if you're on the water, we'll have cooler temperatures in the lower 70s. The winds about 5 to 7 miles an hour. So you're dealing with waves that are nice and low, around a foot or less too. Today's forecast from different areas will have a range of temperatures. Closer to 80 degrees in Niagara Falls. Batavia will be in the middle 70s, and then down across the southern tier in Jamestown, we're in the mid and low 70s. Mostly sunny all across the region. We do have some southern tier valley fog yet again tonight. It's a lot like early this morning. We'll have those in the 50s. The southern tier will likely be dropping into the 40s yet again. One of my favorite days of the week come Saturday morning is farmers markets, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous for our farmers markets on Saturday too. So cool start, but then if you're headed out maybe a little bit later as the sun comes up and warms us up a little bit, then we're in the mid 70s by 11 to noon or so. And what we'll have for our day leading into the afternoon is about the 80-degree mark. Low 80s in Lockport. A mix of sun and clouds into the afternoon for our Saturday between Buffalo and Batavia with highs in the lower 80s. And if you're headed to any of not only county fairs, but different festivals, great conditions for it. Mostly sunny for the Chautauqua County Fair on Saturday. Seasonable with temperatures in the upper 70s. This is going to be, I would say, not cooler, but pleasant because you're right along the water in Dunkirk as well. Mainly Fair and Company going to about 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. As this plays out, I haven't really stopped it at all because the only thing that we're going to deal with is some high thin clouds into the upcoming weekend. The only chance of a possible shower is into Sunday, late afternoon and evening along the Lake Creek boundary. And pretty much that's almost just north of Buffalo and not anywhere else in western New York. So we're going to be really dry, not only for Sunday, but even into next week. The temperatures are in the 80s. We'll have a spotty shower possible on Tuesday, especially south and east of Buffalo. And then after that, we'll have scattered storms come Wednesday and Thursday. But we have a very long stretch of very nice and calm weather that I think we deserve.
Okay, it's 5:51 on the start of your Friday morning. You are looking live at the big board at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. It appears that everything is operating as scheduled. However, what we now know is the FAA has ground stopped Delta, American Airlines, and United. They have all asked for ground outages, ground stoppage, because of these communication issues that they're having when it comes to computers talking to each other as a result of all of this IT situation that everyone around the world is suffering.
Possibly based with Microsoft, possibly based with CrowdStrike. This is a cybersecurity program that Microsoft uses well. Again, Ed mentioned those local carriers, the Delta, United, American. Also, there are international airlines impacted too. So let's say you have a different carrier to an international airline, Virgin Air, Australian Air, Qantas Air, those are impacted as well. So needless to say, this is causing a big issue at airports all across the world. Marty, thank you for your comments. So you can go right now to our WKBW Facebook page. We're simulcasting on air and there. Marty, working near the airport, flight path usually sees a lot of planes coming in. So far, only a UPS plane inbound.
And Rita, good morning to you. She says, this stinks, vacation delayed.
No, Rita.
Our 7 News reporter, Jordan Johnson, is live for us at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. Jordan, set the scene for us. Tell us what you're seeing and how it's affecting some of the passengers trying to get out.
I left my crackers in here. Yes.
You're looking live at the Buffalo Niagara International website here. Again, everything appears to be operating as scheduled. Again, though, as we've learned from some reporting that's coming into the newsroom, Delta, United, and American Airlines have since grounded all flights as a result of this global IT outage. What does that actually mean for you? It means that you should call your carrier before you head to the airport to see what exactly is happening. And we have reached out to a spokesperson from the NFTA, which runs the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. They say that you should check with your carrier. We have not seen anything on the Buffalo Airport's Twitter account updating anyone. We have not seen anything come from the NFTA just yet, officially alerting us to any ground stoppage. We also have seen comments here, and again, you can reach out to us on our WKBW Facebook page because of this outage, this global IT outage. We're affected here at 7 News. We use Microsoft systems, and a lot of the people who are affected here are Microsoft 365 users. So as a result of this global IT outage, we're trying to get you the news as quickly and efficiently as possible. Somebody asked if this would affect stores like Target, Walmart, Tops, Wegmans. I have reached out to the top spokesperson to try and get some information. Another person also asking if this is going to affect city courts. I've reached out to the Buffalo Police and Buffalo City spokesperson, Mike DeGeorge, to try and get that answer for you. Still waiting to hear back.
And you just heard that gentleman that Jordan was interviewing mention his wife works at a hospital, and hospitals are being impacted. So I've got our producers, Zach and Jordan. They're making some calls to the hospitals. We'll call ECM, CO Shy, Buffalo General. We want to know how it's impacting them. We do know because we had someone who was with us this morning from Roswell who already said, listen, we got a text and an email about it. Roswell's being impacted. And really, when we talk about the impact there, it's not to your actual healthcare, it's to that paperwork.
Correct.
And they're probably going to have to be taking everything the old school way and then updating. We know they use electronic charts there. It's such a big part of their day.
Dwayne wonders, is this affecting banks and direct deposits? Yes, we have, according to the AP, seen that this is affecting banks, though what the specifics of the impact is or are has not been real clear just yet. But yes, banks are being affected.
Let me just, Willow is just
I'm
joining
sorry.
us, and you can imagine that this would be kind of scary, right? If you did just join, you're saying, what's going on? I'm seeing all this. Okay, so Willow, here's the thing. There's a big, massive tech outage throughout the world, maybe Microsoft-based, maybe one of their systems-based, but because so many different entities use Microsoft, that's why we're seeing this issue. So don't worry, 911 still working, police, fire, all operating as normal, minus the fact that they have to take everything they'd normally put in their computer, so all those reports, by hand.
I've also reached out to the state of New York to try and get a live interview here with Commissioner Jackie Bray, who is the Department of Emergency Services and Homeland Security Commissioner. She has joined us live when it comes to weather, but obviously this is another emergency that a lot of state agencies are going to be dealing with today. So we'll try and check in with her on the other side of this break. It's 5:57. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo. Yeah. Like studio mics? Yeah. Do we need to turn them on?
Do you want us to put these on?
Yeah, they want to switch over to EMPS. Apparently, EMPS has been up since 4 or earlier, but nobody told us until
and American Airlines flights. And you can see a lot of these people are waiting in line trying to figure out what's next for them. Here's the deal. The Buffalo Niagara International Airport Big Board
outage, systems are not able to speak with each other, especially when it comes to what's happening in the cockpit, to air traffic control, and vice versa, which could cause a big issue. Now, a lot of these systems also are tracking manifests, they're tracking passengers, they're trying to figure out how people are coming and going, and we know with American Airlines, Delta, and United, ground stopping everything. There's no one coming in or going out of the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. Now, Southwest doesn't appear to have any customers standing in line, but I would love to go over to the United counter, which is nearby, or the American Airlines counter, which is also nearby, to see what actually is happening here. And we have our 7 News reporter, Jordan Johnson, there live for us. Jordan, let's hear what's going on there.
I can't get into it.
I was having a hard time with that also.
All right. All right, Jordan, thank you. She's been talking to flyers throughout the morning, talking to travelers. We appreciate you being there and seeing what you can do as you get more information. One thing I do want to say is the airport's website has updated just a little bit. None of these flights in the past were actually listed as delayed. And now I've noticed that there's a United Airlines flight that's listed as delayed. And we did mention before there was a Southwest airline flight that's listed as delayed. And there's another one, American Airlines. So this has changed because these were all listed as scheduled before. Now we're seeing some of them listed as delayed. So maybe they're being able to get somewhat into that back end on some capacity and list things for you.
I just want to let you know that we're following some more breaking news here this morning, getting into the newsroom computer email system. Monroe County's IT systems are experiencing disruptions because of the global CrowdStrike Windows outage, but 911 and emergency communication systems are functioning. Monroe County Executive Adam Bello activating the Emergency Operations Center at 4 a.m. today and is on site monitoring the situation. I have reached out to Dan Myers and Peter Anderson, who both speak for Erie County. It turns out Peter Anderson is on vacation, I believe, and is away from the office, but I have also reached out to Dan Myers to try and see if we can get a live interview with Erie County Executive Mark Polencars regarding this situation and how it's affecting Erie County services. I have not heard back just yet. However, we do know that if you are to call 911, they'll answer the phone, they'll send services to you. They're just operating without their computer systems and tracking and monitoring everything by hand and paper.
I just want to address you because some people are actually watching us on Facebook via our StreamYard services. We're kind of simulcasting this morning. So I want to address those people who are watching us still on a camera that's right over here. Mike, for example, says they're not hearing any interviews on their end. So what we are doing right now, Mike, and everybody who's watching via that, you can stay with us here, ask us any questions you want on StreamYard on Facebook, but you're also watching right now on Channel 7. We're able to get back up on air and you're going to be able to see all of the videos that way.
Okay, so as we've been mentioning, so much of this global IT outage is affecting the FAA, the airport, here locally and all around the world. Our 7 News reporter, Jordan Johnson, has breaking details coming in from the NFTA. Jordan, let's go back to you. I understand that you have Kelly Khatib from the NFTA. What is she telling you? Okay, obviously, with this IT outage, we're having some communication issues here. So it's not just you, it's everyone here, including us. So we're trying our best to make sure that we get you as updated information as possible. In the booth, are we going to be able to get Jordan on the air? Because I want to make sure that we're hearing from the NFTA.
Okay.
They're working on it.
Yeah, while they're working on that, because again, she does have Kelly live. I did want to address a couple comments that were coming in. And you mentioned reaching out to Peter Anderson about Erie County. Well, hospitals, right? Also ECMC operated under the county. And we have reached out to ECMC right now. They said they couldn't comment on what's happening. One of our producers did reach out, but we did hear from Roswell via an employee there who told us they got a text, they got an email that they are being impacted. Again, no concerns that this is truly impacting an aspect of healthcare. The providers are still there, right? The nurses and doctors are still there. A lot of this is my assumption, is coming via their e-system and all of the different ways they access patient records.
Well, frankly, I mean, I heard from one of the dispatchers who we were talking to earlier this morning when we first came in, and one of the things that I was told, I think in Niagara County, and I'll have to double check, is that their justice portal is down. So a lot of these online systems that are based on the cloud or in the cloud have been affected here. Now, we were talking on Facebook Live a little while ago about how this would affect stores, Target, Walmart, Wegmans, Tops. I did just hear back from Kathy Sauter, who is the spokesperson for Tops. She says she's checking into this and will let me know as soon as she hears back. So could this have implications that are wider than just banks, the airport, media, and other entities, government agencies? Potentially, though we are still waiting to get that confirmation. Do we want to go back to Jordan now, or are we still waiting to establish her signal?
Okay, we're still waiting to hear from Jordan. So we do want to just let you know, again, as soon as Ed and I came in, right, we started making calls. We'll take you through kind of the back end of how this goes. First, we reached out to emergency services because we thought, number one, that might be one thing that was impacted. They're telling us that they're not impacted when it comes to calling 911, having any sort of response, being able to communicate with each other via police radios. It's just their paperwork right now. So that's something that we want you to know. Feel safe that you can still call 911 and someone will respond to you.
Okay, we want to go back now to our 7 News reporter, Jordan Johnson, who's standing by with breaking details coming in from the NFTA. Jordan, what are you hearing from them, and how is this affecting travelers today?
Okay.
Hey, Jordan, the folks who are behind you standing at the United counter, we see these long lines. We know typically when people are heading to the airport for these early morning flights, there are typical long lines. Now, are those people being checked in and getting to their gate, getting out, or are they seeing cancellations and delays this morning? Yeah, because really, as you heard from Kelly Khatib from the NFTA, this could affect your connecting flights.
Sure.
So while you might be able to get out from Buffalo this morning, the reality is you might not be able to get out from wherever you're connecting to, which could affect you getting to your final destination.
Yeah.
So you see these long lines, obviously call your airline before you head out.
Because you want to make sure not only you can get on your flight here, but like Ed mentioned, your connecting flight. This is impacting national airlines and also international airlines as well. We did hear, though, from Kelly that some flights did get out this morning. So make sure you're checking with your airline. Go to the airport, figure it out from there.
It's 6:11 on the start of a Friday morning. We're following that breaking news for you. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo.
Hey to everybody who's watching us on StreamYard right now. Yes, you will not hear our reporters right now via StreamYard. So if you want to hear them and you want to watch that newscast, you're going to have to use a second screen. Go to our actual on our television, Channel 7. You're going to be able to watch us there. Kelly, I just wanted to comment on you because I see you chatting over here. Yeah, so you're not going to hear the reporters through StreamYard. We can keep it going here just so you guys know and so you're aware, and we can talk to you kind of during the breaks if you want.
Obviously, we're broadcasting live on our WPW Facebook page. So the thing about this is that you're kind of seeing the behind the scenes here, and we understand that it's a little bit raw, and we understand that perhaps a little unfiltered.
We understand you just watched me drop a cracker on the floor.
I needed a cup of coffee here. So this is obviously a commercial break that we're in right now, and we're trying to figure out where we're going and how we're getting there. So just bear with us. And understand that we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here because we're just as affected when it comes to this IT situation as you are.
Into the actual show that I need here.
Yes. Now, can someone in the booth give us some direction here as to where we're going from here?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Here's an update. Does she know that?
Autumn, you're at the weather center.
There will be traffic, but he can't hear me.
No traffic.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are at 6:14, and things might look a little different to you this morning because we're following that breaking news, a massive tech outage. It's impacted so many all across the country and all across the world.
It's also affecting us here at 7 News. We are on the air and both on our Facebook page, our WKBW Facebook page. So if you have anything that you want to talk about, or if something is impacting you personally, perhaps your business, your place of work, let us know. You can drop a comment here and we'll get to it as we see it. Let's check in with our 7 News meteorologist, 7 weather meteorologist, Autumn Lewandowski, who's here with us tracking your 7 weather forecast. A gorgeous weekend. At least there's some good news here.
Thank you.
Breaking news for news now.
Yeah.
Not with the weather. It's smooth sailing into the weekend. We're looking great. It's fantastic. Grab your sunglasses. You may even need a light jacket the next couple of mornings, especially across the southern tier. 57 degrees at the Buffalo Airport. As the sun came up, it was just around 5:54 or so. So moving into a very pleasant start. We are cooler. We're in the mid-50s into Genesee, Wyoming, Orleans County, Allegheny County. We'll show you that in a second. It's even cooler there. 58 in Swarmville, Bennington, Attica, all in the lower 50s. And we even have some 40s as you head right along the 219 to Limestone, Bradford, and into Allegheny County, Amity, and Scioto. 49 degrees this morning. Some valley fog that we're contending with. But as a whole, we are going to be mostly sunny for the day. For the weekend, in fact, throughout the Great Lakes, things are looking absolutely fantastic. If you want to get the artwork in, you can still do it early on today before you head through the weekend and just kind of smooth sail. Right, we have temperatures that will be in the low 70s by 11 a.m. So still around noon, we're in the low 70s, and we're not going to have a big amount of humidity for the day today. So it's a gorgeous day, and we're just going to almost carbon copy yesterday, get rid of a little bit of the breeze, and then add a couple of more degrees for the temperature, and it's going to feel absolutely great. Near 80 for Niagara Falls, mid 70s for Batavia, and lower 70s for Jamestown today. Tonight, we're back into the 50s. We'll likely see some 40s across the southern tier and some valley fog as well. The winds are still going to be nice and light, mainly clear, good for stargazing, that's for sure. Tomorrow, we're in the 80s now. Lockport is in the low 80s. Buffalo will be right around the 80-degree mark with more of the southwesterly winds in play. And through the day, we're going to have mainly sunny conditions. Early on, we might have some high thin clouds out there, and then for the afternoon, it's pretty much just sunshine and temperatures right near the 80-degree mark. Maybe you're going to be headed out to different, any festivals or fairs. Chautauqua County, their fair is just begun the last few days, and it's looking great for the weekend too. Mostly sunny right around 1 o'clock on Saturday. Seasonable into the afternoon hours with temperatures in the upper 70s and remaining clear and comfy leading into the evening. Allowing this hourly forecast to just keep on going, what we'll have are just some high thin clouds that will come through. By Sunday, along the boundary, just north of Buffalo or so, there could be a spotty sprinkle. So there's a little more cloud cover on Sunday than throughout the entire weekend, but it's mainly going to be a comfortable, quiet weekend, one that doesn't have a lot of humidity, even though we start to increase our temperatures. And then into next week, we're in the mid-80s, mid to low 80s. Spotty showers come into the possibility on Tuesday, especially for the southern tier. And then we become a little more unsettled as we get into the middle of next week with highs right near 80.
Autumn, thank you. So the good news of this chaotic morning is that Friday looks amazing.
Let's just get through it,
and
right?
the weekend looks great.
Dear Lord.
Which is what we like to hear in a Western New York July weekend. Autumn, again, thank you. Hey, I want to just get you the latest on this massive tech impact all across the country, all across the world. So they're tying it now potentially to this cyber company called CyberStrike. So the CyberStrike, or excuse me, CrowdStrike, the CrowdStrike CEO is now saying they're working with customers. Again, these are customers throughout the world. So many of us impacted here, many of you at your work, and they say that a fix has been deployed. So their CEO, again, saying this IT issue causing this global outage has been identified. They're deploying a fix, saying they're working with all of their customers. There was a defect that they found in some content update for Window Host, which is why so many of those Microsoft programs that we've been talking about throughout this morning have been impacted. They've identified this issue, isolated it, a fix is deployed.
Okay, that doesn't mean, though, that you're not going to be affected here this morning, especially when it comes to the airport. Fox News now reporting a Delta Airlines statement has been released announcing that all flights were paused. All Delta airline flights have been paused as they work through this technology issue. The issue arises, I'm just reading this article from Fox News, as multiple airlines, including American Airlines and United, issued similar statements. The three airlines and Allegiant Air grounded flights less than an hour after Microsoft said resolved its cloud service outage that impacted several carriers. That's according to Reuters, again, that Fox News report just coming out. Monroe County has its IT systems affected, but 911 systems are still working. So if you were to call 911 this morning, you would still reach a dispatcher and you would still be able to have them dispatch services to you wherever you are. The thing about it is, like in Monroe County, a lot of the Erie County, Niagara County, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, all of the counties here that we represent, Wyoming, Genesee, also are dealing with this as well. They are having those computer issues as well. Though I should point out, when I called the Genesee County Sheriff's Office this morning, I spoke with a supervisor who frankly would not give me any information and told me that they are sending out a press release and would do so once that press release is authorized. So really the impact in Genesee County is still unclear this morning, but in the other counties that I spoke with, it seems like their 911 services are operational and their computers are really the only things that are not working.
Yeah, as soon as we got in this morning, that's what we did. We thought, how is this going to impact Western New York? So we thought, first, emergency services, number one, right? So important to have online. So we did reach out. You know, Erie County was very forthcoming. They told me, listen, the only thing that's impacted here right now is that paperwork that, of course, we all know nobody wants to be doing, but they'll just be uploading this stuff throughout the day or as this fix, again, begins to take hold. You know, we say there's a fix deployed right now. Great news. However, it's not instantaneous. We know nothing like this is.
So I want to take you live to the Buffalo Niagara International Airport this morning and show you what the actual impact is with people who are trying to come and go. You can see those long lines at the, well, they're not as long as they were, perhaps, but at the United counter, which is one of those airlines that has been grounded this morning. Also, we know Delta and American Airlines have also been grounded, according to reporting coming in from the AP. So no one really coming and going, though we did hear from the NFTA just moments ago that said one flight left the Buffalo airport at 5:30, but the problem is that even though you might have a flight that leaves from the Buffalo airport, your connecting flight, if you were to connect someplace, might be affected. So you might not even be able to get out from wherever it is that you're connecting to.
Right.
So this is going to be a domino effect, perhaps today into the weekend. But when this ends, I would say probably sooner than later.
Right. You know, and the good news is they have, for the most part, our Jordan Johnson has seen, been getting people through security and to their gates. This is a new update too, just 4 minutes ago from CNN, that the Dubai airport, which we know is one of the biggest airports in the world, right? Dubai International Airport actually resumed its normal operations after this IT failure. So this is good news potentially for air travelers, that one of the biggest airlines here is back up and running. And we're looking right now at the big board there. You can see there's a couple of flights that are still labeled as delayed. Even if your flight is up there labeled as scheduled, don't count on that.
So I'm seeing Vicky's comment here on our WKBW Facebook page asking, are border crossings affected? And I'm just looking now at the NYTEC website, and they track and monitor all of the delays and accidents around Western New York. I'm looking at the border crossings here. Coming into the United States from Canada, there is an 86-minute delay. So more than an hour it'll take you to get over the border. And I wonder if we can pull up this camera in the producer computer as we're doing this right now. You're looking at it. The Peace Bridge camera is what we're seeing here. To the US, it's going to take you, it's not going to cost you, it's going to cost you a lot of time, that's for sure. But look at the backup here. Obviously, this is raw and in real time. This is something that's going to affect a lot of people who are coming into the United States as a result, I would suspect, of this computer outages that perhaps is affecting government agencies now as we're seeing it live.
Okay, so the Peace Bridge looks really busy. Also the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, if you want to back out and go to that camera, that bridge looks really busy as well. Again, these are all cars that are coming into the United States.
Though I should point out, though, when I'm looking at the Lewis and Queenston Bridge here also, it says no delay, but obviously when you're seeing that kind of traffic,
here's what I'm starting to think. The cameras are in real time.
Right.
The delays are not being updated in real time. Because if we can back out, John, and could you go to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge? You're looking at the Peace Bridge right now. Let's take people to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. It's another camera that you're going to be able to see. Oh, you're on a different, yeah. If you go back to NYTEC, yep, scroll down, you're going to be able to see the Queenston-Lewiston right there to the left. So right there, I mean, look at that backup right there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so, right, Ed's seeing how much time does it say? It's saying no delay.
Yeah.
Right. Although obviously there is one right now.
We're not really sure how this is impacting the Canadian Border Service Agency. Obviously, though, you're not seeing many people heading into Canada. You're seeing a lot of people heading into the United States. That blue arrow obviously pointing in the way traffic is going, and those cars are pointing toward the U.S. So you can see big delays at the border crossings.
Good question, Vicki. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, and thank you for letting us know. And that's why we're simulcasting right now. We're not only on television, we're also live on our Facebook page. So if you're seeing anything or you have a question that you think we can maybe answer for you, go to our Facebook page and write in. We already had somebody write in, say, listen, I work at Roswell. I got a text and I got an email that we are being impacted there. It sounds like everybody was still going into work, but it was just impacting their back end systems, their computer systems, like so many companies.
I want to run through the list as well that I posted for you on WKBW.com. I sent you a push alert about this about 4:30 this morning or so when it comes to all of the impact. Erie County 911 services are still working. Computers are not working, though. Most of their reporting is being done by paper. In Niagara County, their 911 operations are working as normal. Communications have not been affected, but their justice portal is not working. So a lot of those cloud-based technological systems are not working. In Cattaraugus County, 911 working as normal, though they don't have their computer or mapping software online. So everything is really being done without computers. In Genesee County, though, we really aren't sure of what the impact is. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, a dispatcher or a supervisor told me that they can't give out any information and would be sending a press release, though, in 2024 when everything is instantaneous. You would expect them just to be able to provide that information to keep you safe. no, they are in fact relying on press releases still that are yet to be sent out to our newsroom. So we're waiting to see what the impact is there.
You know, I see another interesting question here coming in on our stream here. Grace is asking, are the casinos being affected?
Great question.
Great question. So we're going to have our producers, I'm texting them right now, they're going to give a call to the casinos here and find out, because not only do so many people go, but so many people are employed by the casinos.
Kristen sending me a message on Facebook wondering about JetBlue because her brother's supposed to come in from Boston this morning. At this point, we haven't seen any actual information coming out from JetBlue. The NFTA is advising you to check in with your carrier before you head to the airport. So make sure you're doing that regardless of what airline you're flying. I'm just checking in with JetBlue's Twitter, and they really haven't posted any updates in some time. So as we get more information, we will certainly keep you posted. But this is a breaking news situation that we're going to be following for you throughout the day. We've got Jordan Johnson live for us at the airport. We're going to check in with her and Autumn Lewandowski on the other side of this break. 6:26 on the start of Friday. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo. Okay.
Did he say something? I'm not hearing anybody.
He said,
if you guys are talking, can you make sure you're pushing down IFBA, because I am not hearing you. I hear you now.
no.
But like if you were timing us out there saying go to a break, I did not hear you.
We are not taking Jordan.
So we're tossing to a soundbite that Jordan got of Travelers, or tossing to a look live that Jordan did. Okay.
Good morning to you at 6:30 on the start of your Friday morning. We're following breaking news of a worldwide IT outage that affects so many people at your business, your place of work. It appears that the FAA has grounded many flights as well. I'm now checking on the FAA and their Twitter account. They're saying that they're closely monitoring a technical issue impacting IT systems at U.S. airlines. Several airlines have requested FAA assistance with ground stops until the issue is resolved. We now know United, American, and Delta have grounded their flights this morning.
As you look live at the Buffalo airport this morning, you can see there doesn't appear to be many travelers right now. We have learned they've been getting people through security. They've been sending them to gates. At least one flight did get out earlier this morning, according to the NFTA, but we'll have to wait and see what the actual impact is as the morning moves forward. Our Jordan Johnson has been there throughout the morning, and she actually spoke with some travelers to get their experience. Here's what she learned. It's this shirt. It's going to do it no matter where I put it.
And that's a great question. What we're learning from our reporting in from the Associated Press is that this all has to do with some sort of a patch from Microsoft and some cybersecurity software that they use. Katie, what are you actually seeing about this?
Okay, so this is this company called CrowdStrike, okay, and they do work with Microsoft. Their CEO says they're working with the customers now on this global outage. They have deployed what they say is a fix, but we know, it's no 1 second fix, right? It's going to take time. The CEO says they did identify the problem, so that's a good thing that they've identified, then deployed this fix, and they're actively now working with the customers. We know the Dubai airport, which is one of the busiest in the world, says it is getting back online this morning after all of that, so that could be a good sign.
Okay, so we're also seeing all of your comments coming in on our WKBW Facebook page. We are simulcasting both on Channel 7 and our WKBW Facebook page. One of the questions in particular was about casinos and if they are operational. Our producers are making those phone calls this morning. Here's what we hear so far. Hamburg Gaming says they've been impacted, though we don't really know what the extent of the impact is. Our producer is on hold right now trying to get some more information from a supervisor. Somebody also asking about grocery stores, whether it affects Tops and Wegmans and Target and Walmart. I've also reached out to Kathy Sauter, who is the spokesperson for Tops. She's telling me Tops has not been impacted by this global outage, so you are still able to go to the grocery store as normal, at least when it comes to Tops. We can also reach out to Wegmans to try and get more information about that.
And again, what we're doing right now is not only airing here on 7 News, but we're also streamlining on our Facebook page. So if you have a question, you can go to our Facebook page right now and let us know. I also do, John, our producer, want to bring up those cameras from NYTEC, because someone else did ask about border crossings, and that's a really important thing. I know so many of you in Western New York are living in Canada for the summer, coming in to go to work on a Friday morning. Well, John's going to pull up those cameras so you can take a look at what the border crossings are looking like, because you might go onto your phone, check the delays, and they don't look that significant. But the thing is, their computer systems don't appear to be updating their back-end software, so their cameras show significant delays here, and a number of the bridges will tell you there's actually not, although there probably is.
No, the Peace Bridge is what you're looking. Is this the Peace Bridge here?
I believe this is Lewis and Queenston.
Okay. The Peace Bridge is being updated on the NYTEC website, and the Peace Bridge has gone from 86 minutes delay into the United States now to just over an hour, 53 minutes. So again, whether this system is being updated is unclear. Obviously, you're seeing some sort of a reduction in delay, at least at the Peace Bridge. But again, as Katie mentioned, other bridges are really showing that there's no delay, which evidently is not the case. The Rainbow Bridge coming into the U.S. saying that there's a 15-minute delay. I'm looking at that camera right now, and it doesn't appear as there might be as much traffic here as there is at Peace Bridge. But again, at least an hour to cross into the United States.
Listen, here's the other thing. It's Friday, right?
TGIF,
It's
small miracles.
It's been a real Friday morning for all of us here. It's going to be for a lot of you as you're trying to log in, get into work, because some of your remote systems might not be working, or your office systems. But the good news is later today, Autumn, we have a beautiful evening that we can just sit out and relax a little bit.
Cocktail.
Just maybe you work a little extra harder for it. Beautiful start to the day. I wanted to show you the weekend outlook because no matter what you're going to be going through over the next 8 hours, it's going to be fantastic as we finish it and lead into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures are going to be in the lower 80s, essentially right where they should be for this time of year. The humidity levels are going to be in check as well.
What?
No type
The
of
credit card?
issue that's coming our way, not only in the weekend, but even into early next week. So nice and quiet and calm. 57 degrees at Buffalo Airport. We are dealing with sunshine. Find those sunglasses. I know we didn't need them for the first half of the week, but you'll need them now. And you may even need a light jacket out there. We also have lower dew point temperatures, so the humidity is a lot less. It's crisp and cool as we start the day, opposed to very muggy and warm. 57 at Buffalo Airport, 58 in the falls, and then we are in the 40s across the southern tier, and some patchy valley fog that we're contending with. On the radar screen, it has been nice and
The one guy brought up an interesting point about credit cards and
I just texted
bank and stuff.
to see.
So we can talk about that. He was saying it was like auto payments with bank systems.
Can someone call Michelle Mahaffey from Wegmans?
50s and even 40s this morning, into the 70s this afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Today, between Niagara Falls, that's going to be the warmest, will be close
We
to
could just
8
make this
degrees.
interesting point.
And
I'm going to
then
email Matt
Batavia,
Pitts
where the
just to see
upper
if he's got any info on
mid-70s,
this.
Jamestown, Southern Tier, mid and low 70s as we go throughout the afternoon hours. The Grease Bowl Festival Friday from 5 to 11 o'clock. Things are looking fantastic. I can just keep saying it, right? We're in the mid-70s here. We'll have relatively light winds even into downtown Buffalo as well. And with clear skies as the sun goes down, and you'll be able to get a good look at what will be the full moon coming up. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler in the upper 60s. So you may want to grab a light jacket even for this evening, not only for this festival, but Canal Side, if you're going to Old Home Days or the Dunkirk County Fair or the Chicago County Fair, all of that's looking good too. Same type of scenario. Southern Tier Valley Fog tonight, temperatures dropping back into the 50s. Even though we get into the 50s, we'll see those temps rise nicely back into the 80s for the weekend. We'll show you that again.
Okay, Autumn, thank you very much. 6:36, just want to update you on that breaking news, and I want to make sure that we are alleviating any stressors or concerns for you. Obviously, with this global IT outage, a lot of agencies, municipalities, and entities are seeing that effect. Now, when it comes to 911 service, what you should know is that if you call 911, you will, in fact, reach a dispatcher, which is the good news, because they will still be able to dispatch emergency services to wherever you are, whatever you might need. The thing is, those emergency service workers might not necessarily be able to log into their computer systems because of this global IT outage, which might cause them some ripple effects in response time. So we just need to be patient here. They're operating as best they can with paper, almost as if there were no computers.
Yeah, they're just taking reports, really.
And so as Willow says on our WKBW Facebook page, our 911 dispatch, thankfully, is still working. And many of them are. Again, it's just the computer issues that they're facing.
And again, we're simulcasting right now here on television, but also on our Facebook page. So if you have a question, maybe something we can answer for you, let us know. I do want to bring up a question that Howard had asked on our Facebook page. I'm going to read it to all of you who are watching us on air. He had just mentioned, listen, keep an eye on auto payments today. He had a healthcare payment get declined this morning that was set up as auto pay and did not go through. And then I had a lot of people asking me about bank payments and how this is impacting banks. So I just reached out to one of the representatives from KeyBank locally, and I wanted to find out, listen, how is this impacting operations here? What do our customers need to know? So as soon as we hear back from them, we'll let you know. Again, this is having a massive worldwide impact.
Okay, a couple of other questions that we were getting as well. Is this going to affect credit card use when you go to the grocery store?
Great question.
Now, I did also reach back out to Kathy Sauter from Tops. She says that Tops has not been impacted by this global outage. So it appears, at least for now, that you would be able to operate as normal at the grocery store. And I did follow up with her and ask, will you be able to use a credit card? Waiting for her to answer. A couple of other questions here. Has this impacted hospitals? We've heard from folks at Roswell that some systems are affected here, but not necessarily patient care. I've reached out to Steve Turkovich, Dr. Turkovich, who is the president of Oshai Children's Hospital. He tells me that there were some issues when it comes to their IT systems, that they've moved downtown IT procedures, but systems are coming back up now. There's no impact to patient care, and that they actually practice IT downtime procedure. So a lot of the people who work at Oshai Children's Hospital, at least, knew exactly what to do. So fortunately, again, no impact to patient care.
You have to imagine if you work in a hospital system, you probably do plan for this just should anything happen. We did reach out to ECMC. We're still waiting to hear back from there. Again, Roswell saying they are impacted, but hopefully your care teams are still there. They shouldn't have a problem. Someone did ask about traffic signals as well. No issues there. Know that if you're out and about, the driving is fine.
Okay, we're going to regroup for a second. It's 6:40 on the start of your Friday morning as we follow breaking news. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo.
I'm asking John Doherty about the throughway.
Rachel, I would just keep like repeating what you just did, answering some of the questions we went about banks, what we know about the airport.
Okay.
It seems to be things are slowly starting.
Yeah, I wonder if we can go back to Jordan.
We were working on that right now.
Okay.
See if she can get someone to talk to.
Yeah, even just a live shot to update us that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What does the Southwest mean? Southwest flights are leaving? I don't see the air. Oh, okay. Okay, 6:42 on the start of your Friday morning. We are following breaking news this morning of this major and massive IT outage around the world. You're looking live at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport, where we know there is a ground stop for a number of airlines. As far as we know at this point, it affects American Airlines, Delta, and United. You can see the United ticket counter is clear. We were seeing longer lines a little bit earlier. We know at least one flight has left. That was at 5:30 this morning. The NFTA is telling us that they are monitoring connecting flights as well, and that you should call your airline before you leave to come to the airport. Jordan Johnson telling me that at least one flight has now left in the last couple of minutes. I believe it was Southwest flights that are leaving the airport this morning. And we see Kelly Khatib there. Right. Do we want to check in with Jordan, who can tell us and bring us breaking details?
Yeah, we're going to let them go ahead and get connected here.
It looks as if we are. So, okay, let's check in with Jordan. Let's bring her microphone up so that we can chat with her. Jordan, good morning to you live at the airport. I know this is a breaking situation and it's very fluid. Obviously, we're flying by the seat of our pants here, as are you. What are you hearing from the airport and from Kelly Khatib from the NFTA?
All right. Our Jordan Johnson for us. Jordan, thank you. So you just heard from Kelly Khatib from the NFTA. No major impacts here. But again, if you have those connecting flights, that could possibly be your issue. We have seen that some of the international airports, Dubai, for example, said it was getting everything back online after having a major impact this morning. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more. We're also answering questions right now. So if you go to our Facebook page, we're simulcasting there. And I want to answer one question that someone just asked because they're really interested in knowing about the border crossing right now. Guy Maria asking, how is the Peace Bridge going into Canada? So I'm going to have our producer, John, pull up that camera for you so you can take a look. The Peace Bridge going into Canada right now is pretty backed up. At last check, Ed, we had, at one point there was like an 80-something minute delay,
yeah.
And now it's gone down to about half an hour. So just keep this in mind if this is part of your commute. And for many Western New Yorkers in the summer, it is. They're coming from their cottages in Canada and heading into work in Buffalo.
Now, what it says to Canada is that there's no delay. And, you know, that seems to be evident in this case. On the left-hand side of your screen is typically how you would get into Canada from the Peace Bridge in downtown Buffalo. And it doesn't even appear that there are any cars going over the bridge that way. In the Rainbow Bridge area, Niagara Falls, it appears that there's about a 20-minute delay coming into the U.S., no delay going into Canada. Though, again, unclear if these systems are actually updating as we're seeing it in real time. But, you know, when you're looking live at a picture like this, you can imagine it's going to take some time to cross the bridge. Now, somebody also asked, will you be able to use a credit card at grocery stores or use your bank account? And will this affect grocery stores at all? Tops is telling me that there is no impact from this global outage, though I did follow up and ask if we were going to be able to use credit cards. Kathy Sauter is in fact checking for me. So as we get that information, I will keep you posted.
Another question that we got from someone, Lynn had asked, what about Easy Pass? Is that being impacted right now? I reached out to the Thruway Authority. I'm being told from someone from the Thruway Authority, there has been no impact to our tolling systems. They're being collected as normal. So if you're driving to work, you use the Thruway, you go through the tolls, no problems for you there.
We're also in the newsroom making some phone calls for you to see about the impact at hospitals, because we know that when you call 911, you will in fact be able to speak with a dispatcher. It's just their computer systems that are down. So they're operating as if there were no computers, and they're operating by hand and with paper and pen here. Our producers have found out that Buffalo General had an outage. They say it's clear now. They're getting more information about what happened at Brooks Memorial Hospital in the Southern Tier. We're being told that their server went down. They're back up and running. And I did speak with Dr. Steve Turkovich just moments ago, who is the president of Oshai Children's Hospital. And he told me that there was an impact from this outage with their IT systems at Children's Hospital. They are back up and running now, but there has been no impact of patient care. And I feel like we want to stress that very, importantly. If you go to the hospital, the only thing that's going to slow you down is the computer system, right? There are doctors, there are nurses, they're still helping you out.
Yeah.
It's just the computers that are affected.
It was nice to hear from Dr. Steve Turkovich that this is something that they do plan for. There's a contingency system in place here when it comes to the hospital. A couple other questions too. Someone had asked here about banks and restaurants. We'll get information on that. Somebody else had asked about the casinos. We made a couple of calls. Hamburg Gaming told us they've been impacted. We're still waiting to get more information there. The Seneca Niagara, we're still waiting to hear. Seneca Buffalo, still waiting to hear as well. So we have reached out for you because not only do we know people go there, but they're a really large employer here in Western New York. So if you have any information too, or any questions that you want to ask, you can go to our Facebook page right now and write in there. We're doing our best to get you the answers as they're coming into us.
I'm obviously on my phones, two phones here, multitasking, talking both with the producers and some sources here. To the producers in the booth, I'm trying to get a phone interview from Kaleida Health, Mike Hughes, reaching out. So if you could just send me the number in our text message, that would be super helpful for him to call in. We're going to check in with him on the other side of this break. It's 6:48. You're watching Good Morning Buffalo.
It might be easier to just have them call your phone and put them on speaker.
Okay.
That's probably easier. That's quite frankly what most phones are doing.
Okay.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
God dang it. I keep forgetting that we're not on, we're not off the air. Yeah, I'm just going to do it here.
Hello.
Hi, it's Ed. How are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to take you in just a second. I'm
Hi,
just going to
Mike.
put you on speakerphone, okay?
Hi there, Katie. Yep, I'm ready to go.
Thank you. Mike, just stand by. We've got about a minute till we come back.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, do me a favor. Just say and spell your name so that the producers hear you.
Sure. Mike Hughes, Hughes, spokesman, Kaleida Health.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mike, here we go. Stand by for us.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. It's 6:50 on the start of your Friday morning. We're continuing to follow that breaking news, a massive tech outage all across the world impacting so many systems worldwide, nationwide, and here in Western New York.
Okay, one of the questions so many of you have been asking pertains to grocery stores and other supermarkets around the area when it comes to using your credit cards. Now, Tops has told me that they have not been affected by this global IT outage, but one of you on our Facebook live stream had asked about using credit cards at the supermarket. So I asked Kathy Sauter, who is the spokesperson for Tops. I'm going to read you what she told me. This is a direct text message from her. Our systems and registers are working. However, there are many different banks and credit cards that could potentially be impacted, so we can't speak to their operating systems. They tested a few transactions at the store with no issue. And she says, by the way, you and Katie are doing a great job. Thank you very much, Katie.
Kathy, we appreciate
it.
It's been a real Friday.
Okay.
We're also answering questions. I just want to let people know we have a live interview. We're going to get to him in 1 second. I want to let you know if you go to our Facebook page right now, you're able to ask questions. We're working to get you answers. Someone asked about the DMV. Our producers are checking on that. Urgent care as well. They're checking on that too.
Mike Hughes from Kaleida Health is joining me literally on the phone this morning. Mike, good morning to you. Glad you're with us. Thank you for calling in here. What's the update from Kaleida Health? Because we know some systems were affected, especially at Children's Hospital, but it appears patient care is not being affected.
Sure. First, thanks for having me, guys, and great job this morning. I know we are going old school, but, you know, in times like this, we have to resort to those things. So, yeah, as you mentioned, we too were impacted on the overnight shift. And probably around 3 o'clock this morning, we opened our incident command center to deal with that issue. Similar to a storm or things like that, you know, this is where the team will come together in an emergency situation. We quickly realized, you know, it was an information technology related issue. And when we do have these types of issues from time to time with a specific software program, hardware, we will implement what we call computer downtime procedures. And really what that is designed to do is two things. One is make sure patient care isn't impacted. You know, patients are safe, employees are safe. And then two, work to get our technology systems back online. So probably from about 3 a.m., you know, to up until now, we have been working to get our systems up online. So we went back to the old school ways of pen and paper to make sure that, you know, patient care wasn't impacted at all. So, you know, we continue to work on bringing the systems back online, but, you know, happy to say that patient care has not been impacted. Our emergency rooms have been fine, our inpatient facilities. And what we're doing now is we're working through to make sure that those who have surgical procedures, outpatient visits scheduled, that they are still coming in as scheduled and as planned.
So, Mike, I'm just seeing text messages from our producers coming in here as we talk about Mercy Hospital in particular, obviously a Catholic health facility. They're saying that they're about to switch shifts and that every bridge is still down, which is their system that they use to send out codes and communications. So they're having trouble doing that. How is that impacting you similarly when it comes to those IT issues? And is that kind of slowing down responses at all?
No, we're similar. We'll be switching shift at 7 a.m., but, you know, there'll be a lot of hard handoffs, face-to-face meetings, you know, huddles, things like that to make sure that people that are coming in who may not be aware of what happened or who may be aware of what happened but don't know how it may have impacted their, say, specific patient unit. So there's an awful lot of face-to-face meetings going on this morning huddles. And again, it's like you said, we're back in the old school days where, you know, we're doing a lot of direct communication. So, you know, it's a full organization response. And like I said before, you know, just like during storms and stuff like that, it's all hands on deck right now.
Mike, just to clarify, so if someone has a surgical procedure, a surgery, something scheduled for this morning at a Kaleida facility, should they come in as scheduled or will they be hearing from your team to let them know?
Probably both, but the number one message is do not, you know, miss your appointment, whether that's a surgical procedure and outpatient visits. We're encouraging all patients and staff to still report on time as directed. It may be at one of our sites or delayed a little bit, but we're not expecting any types of major types of cancellations or delays.
Now, Kaleida Health facilities, of course, Millard Fillmore Suburban, Children's Hospital, Buffalo General, Gates Hospital, all of these hospitals have been affected by IT issues, but it appears that patient care has not been affected. And I feel like we need to reiterate that to alleviate some fears or concerns for loved ones, Mike.
Yeah, that's correct. So you named, you know, 3 of the facilities, but this also stretches down. We go all the way down to Bradford, Pennsylvania. So Olean General Hospital, Bradford Regional Medical Center, We have close to 100 ambulatory clinics across Western New York and 8 counties. So impact, we think at some point it may have touched all those sites, but I think our information technology team has done an incredible job bringing us back online and making sure that we are having a normal Friday in July.
Yeah. All
Very
things
good.
considered.
Yeah, right.
Mike Hughes
Exactly.
from Kaleida Health. Mike, thank you so much, and we'll follow up with you throughout the day to try and get our viewers some information.
Please do. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Thanks,
Appreciate it,
Mike.
So you just got a little bit of an update there on hospital systems. We also, again, want to alleviate your fears when it comes to 911 systems. Ed and I came in this morning. That was one of the first things we did, called a number of different police organizations throughout the area. Sheriff's departments, police departments, their 911 systems operating as normal. Their radios operating as normal. They're just doing paperwork when it comes to taking reports.
We're going to track this breaking news situation for you throughout the morning. Obviously, Good Morning America is going to be all over this one for you coming up in just minutes. We're going to be with you at 8 o'clock for Second Cup, and we'll leave you with a live look outside with Skywatch 7. A beautiful weekend ahead.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
There's light at the end of the tunnel, even though we're dealing with some issues.
Have a great day, everyone, and an even better weekend. Okay, everyone, if you're watching on Facebook Live, we're going to end the stream here. We're going to be back with you at 8 o'clock for Second Cup. So go get them today. It's going to be one of those days.
I was going to say, it's real.